Here's a look at a recap of your markets on this Thursday, the 17th day of April. We'll kick off this report today with the results from the monthly cattle on feed report. No real surprises there. The on feed number came in at 98.4. Average analyst pre-report guesses, 98.3. Marketing's came in at 101.1. That was slightly higher than the pre-report estimate average of 100.7, but still within the expected range. The big number, of course, always the placement number that we watch. It came in a bit higher than the average analyst pre-report guess, 105.1. That pre-report guess was 103.7, but that was still within the range of expectations, so probably really shouldn't have any effect on anything as that report is analyzed a bit further. Of course, this being the quarterly report, we did get a look at the ratio between steers and heifers. That ratio still not showing any real signs of growth, setting at 62% steers and 38% heifers. And of course, we'd like to see that heifer number down closer to the lower 30s to really give us any full indication of significant growth cycle. And we're just still not seeing that yet. Before we take a look at some of the auction results from today, we'll go ahead and talk about cattle trade in the feedlots. We did see some trade finally develop today as we expected, as the futures markets and all the financials are closed on Friday, and most of those guys, both on the buying and selling side, probably like to have Good Friday off as well. As of the 2 o'clock cutoff, had 14,000 head reported. Very likely there's more reported that will show up on the morning report Friday morning there. As of the 2 o'clock report, however, Texas, 3,000 head, 208 to 210. Kansas, about 2,000 head, 208 to 210. Iowa reported 3,300 head, 210 to 212 live, 332 to 335 dress. Nebraska reported about 4,200 head, 212 on the live side, 332 to 335 on the dress side. If those prices end up being the market this week, that'll make the live sales about $4 to $6 higher, dress sales about $4 to $7 higher. Taking a look at the auction barns around the state today, of course, we don't have all of the data in yet. Those sales still going on. They have pretty much wrapped up with the feeders at Mocan, getting ready to start the cows there. We'll take a look at those feeder prices like most of the auctions around the state this week. That market forgot about all last week's losses and put back all the gains back to where we were 2 weeks ago, setting at all-time records again. The steers, medium and large ones, 4 to 5 weights at $395 to $438. 5 to 6 weights at $333 to $394. 6 to 7 weights at $335 to $360. 45 head, 810-pound steers sold at $277, and then 2 full loads of 939-pound steers sold at $264. The feeder heifers, some 4 to 5 weight heifers, $355 to $399.50. 5 to 6 weights at $312 to $340. Some 6 to 7 weights at $282 to $313. 55 head of 731-pound heifers at $269. One highlight we did see at one of the other auctions, New Cambria Livestock Market, they sold 38 head of replacement quality heifers, 825 pounds. They sold at $275, which when you do the math, that comes up to $2,270, which puts them right back in the range of what the prices we were seeing on all of those 750 to 850-pound heifers from a couple weeks ago bring. Box beef cutout values. Choice was down 63 cents today at $332.90. Select was up $2 at $316.39. Volume 143 loads of cuts, trimmings, and grinds. A Choice Select spread at $16.51. Taking a look at the closing futures markets, live cattle for April, $209.82 up $2.75. June at $204.07 up $2. August $200.12 up $1.17. Feeder cattle, the April contract, it expired today. $293.35 up $3.40. May at $286.85 up $2.45. August $290.87 up $1.42. Of course, that feeder cattle index, it had to be right in there at the same mark as that settlement for the April. up $5.42 as a lot of those lower prices from the 7-day rolling average from last week fell off. So that cash index for the feeder cattle up through the 12-state feeding region based on an 800-pound steer, $293.57. Lean hogs for May up 25 cents, $90.40. June 98.02 up 7, and July 98.10 up 20. Turning our attention to the grain markets, soybeans at the elevators around the state 2 cents lower, wheat a penny higher, corn bids steady to 2 lower. Corn bids at the elevators in St. Louis 504 to 507, Kansas City 442 to 484. Soybean bids St. Louis 1060 to 1061, Kansas City 981 to 1056. Wheat bids St. Louis 542 to 543, and Kansas City 538. On the Board of Trade, corn for May down 2, 482 and a quarter. July at 490 and a quarter, down 1.5. September 458 and a half, down a quarter. Soybeans for May 2 and a quarter lower, 1036 and a half. July at 1047 and 3/4, down 2.5. August at 1044 and 3/4, down 2. Wheat contracts May a penny higher, 548 and 3/4. July at 560, 2 and a quarter, up 1 1/4. September up 1.5, 576 and a half. Soybean meal for May down $1.10 a ton, $295.60. Soybean oil for May, $47.87 a hundredweight, up 39 cents. With the Missouri Department of Agriculture, that's your farm news. This is Tony Hancock.